Welcome back, friends. I've got someone to introduce you to today. This is Bishop Myriel, okay? And he is none other than the Bishop in Les Mis by Victor Hugo. I'm actually only beginning to read this book because my wife read it to me. And this character really won me over to the idea of even attempting this brick, this monolith of text. And he's just such a great example of what a Christian should be. I thought, oh, gosh, I have to share him. So, yeah, I decided to read it after I listened to my wife read part of this text for me. I'm actually going to jump ahead in the book and read for you his life philosophy, and then we'll go back and see that life philosophy applied. So here it is. There are men who dig for gold. He dug for compassion. Poverty was his gold mine, and the universality of suffering a reason for the universality of charity. Love one another. To him, everything was contained in those words, his whole doctrine, and he asked no more. And that really is it, right? Like if you were to shorten the greatest commandment, which is already a shortening of the 600 and whatever commandments of the Old Testament, to love the Lord your God with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength. If you were to and to love your neighbor as yourself, if you were to shorten that even more, it's just simply to love. In one word, be like God, be love. And so that's what we're seeing here. Let's jump earlier in the text and see that played out. In Jesus' day, it was, and in our day too, clothing the naked, feeding the poor, giving drink to the thirsty, visiting those in prison, taking care of the widow and the orphan. Like these things are just universal, but it's interesting to see what would a bishop be doing back in the time that this was written. So let's take a look here. He was not to be deterred in his labors for charity, even by a direct refusal, and he found things to say which lingered in the mind. Among the company in a fashionable salon where he went to solicit alms was the Marquis de Campeteur, a rich elderly miser who contrived to be both ultra-royalist and ultra-Voltairean. The type existed in those days. The bishop touched him on the arm and said, "Monsieur de Marquis, you must indeed give me something." The Marquis turned away, saying curtly, "Monsignor, I have my own poor. Give them to me," said the bishop. Instead of asking for more money, he just said, "Fine, then give me your poor. I want them." That should be all of our attitudes. It's one of the paradoxical laws of life, that if you give more, you actually end up receiving more than if you were just taking in and saving for yourself. So it's just a great rule to keep in mind, that we should always be asking for more people to help, and we'll be given the grace and the charity needed after the fact, right? Just take that on faith. It will come. All right, this is the second thing. I love this so much. This is beautifully written. For the rest, he was the same to all men, the fashionable world and the unfashionable, and the ordinary people. He judged nothing in haste or without taking account of the circumstances. He said, "Let me see how the fault arose." Being, as he said with a smile, himself a former sinner, he lacked all sanctimoniousness, and without self-righteous flourishes preached in the forthright terms a doctrine which may be summed up as follows. And here's the quote. "The flesh is at once man's burden and his temptation. He bears it and yields to it. He must keep watch over it and restrain it and obey it only in the last resort. Such obedience may be a fault, but it is a venial fault. It is a fall, but a fall onto the knees which may end in prayer. To be a saint is to be an exception. To be a true man is the rule. Err, fail, sin if you must, but be upright. To sin as little as possible is the law for men. To not sin at all is a dream for angels. All earthly things are subject to sin. It is like the force of gravity. Any ill-considered outburst of popular indignation would cause him to smile." Oh, that's the end quote there, and then we'll continue on. "Any ill-considered outburst of popular indignation would cause him to smile. It appears," he would say, "that this is a crime which everyone commits. See how outraged hypocrisy hurries to cover itself." He was indulgent to women and to the poor, oppressed by the weight of society. Quote, The faults of women, children, and servants, he said, and of the weak, the poor, and the ignorant are the faults of husbands, fathers, and masters, and of the strong, the rich, and the learned, end quote. He also said, quote, teach the ignorant as much as you can. Society is to blame for not giving free education. It is responsible for the darkness it creates. The soul in darkness sins, but the real sinner is he who caused the darkness, end quote. As we can see, he had his own way of looking at things. I think he derived it from the gospel. I think so too. Well said, Victor Hugo. Oh my gosh, it's so great. There's so many parts of that I love and that stand out to me, but that our fall, when we're just trying to be saints and we fall into a venial sin, it's a fall onto the knees, as in a prayer, right? That should be the position of all of us when we stumble. The devil wants to accuse and to keep you there, lying flat on your face, absolutely helpless for yourself or others. But the real trick is to get back up on your knees in prayer and keep going. And then I also like how he really points a finger at the men, the husbands, the masters of society, because they are the stronger vessels, and much of the men, that is, much of the blame does fall on them. If there's someone who is like a wife or a child who's acting out, in the context of that household, the guilt may not lie with the husband, the man of the house, but the responsibility does, right? Because he should have acted properly before that occurred, and then also been disciplining along the way and encouraging along the way after the sin happens, after the sins occur. So it just strikes me as such a perfect model of society that in the same degree that you're in power, that's the degree to which you're going to be judged. Yeah, I love that so much. So anyway, that's all for today. I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.